Hey folks, welcome to the city of Kendallville, Indiana. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I hope everyone's buckled in for a drive through the city of Kendallville. Now, Kendallville, Indiana is located in Noble County, 37 minutes northwest of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then, of course, that's going to be on the northeast section of the state of Indiana. Now, Kendallville was a city named after Amos Kendall, the 8th U.S. Postmaster General. Now, the population of Kendallville is 9,926 people, and it has been losing people at a rate of 0.8% as of the 2020 census. So not quite 1%. So I would say for the most part, it's safe to say that the population of this city is stagnant at best. And if you want to live here, the median home price is going to be at $177,000. However, there are a few houses that are priced lower than that, but not too many, just a few. The lowest price house that they have for sale, according to Realtor.com, is priced at $85,000. Now, the majority of the houses that are currently for sale here are going to be priced at northwest greater than $230,000. Now, I will tell you, for the houses that are priced under $230,000, the majority of those houses are not going to have big lots. The average lot size might be around 6,000 to 7,000 square feet, not that big. So housing prices here, although they're not the most expensive, they're not the cheapest either. Now, as far as things to do here, you have the Apple Festival, the Christmas Parade, the Noble County Fair, the 4th of July fireworks at Bixler Lake, the Tri-City Bluegrass Festival. Now, I was not able to find specific dates of these events. Honestly, I forgot to look that up, so my apologies. But just know that throughout the year, those are the events that go on in the city. So if you care to attend any of those events, you'll have to do your own research. And you can also visit the Mid-America Windmill Museum, which is, I believe, here in town or close by. Now, a few people that are from here, which most of you are familiar with the names, would be Brad Miller, a two-time NBA All-Star basketball player who played for the Indiana Pacers and the Sacramento Kings, and then retired in 2012. Then you got George A. Mitchell, the founder of Cadillac, Michigan. He lived from the 8th of January in 1824 up until the 5th of August of 1878. And he founded Cadillac, Michigan in 1871. For those of you that care, the population of Cadillac, Michigan sits at 10,371 people. So it's not that big of a city. And eventually I will be making it up to Michigan to do some videos for this channel. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful places up in Michigan. So I will be up there eventually. And then you have Amy Yoder Begley, who ran middle and long distance for the 2008 Summer Olympics. Now, as far as it goes for the let's see. Now, as far as it goes for the crime in Kendallville, violent crime is 39% above national average, and property crime is about average. Now, when it comes to violent crime, I will say that I'm a little surprised that the violent crime numbers are that high. Now, granted, in the scheme of things, to have a city or town that has a violent crime rate of 39% above national average, in reality, is not bad. But for this particular community, I'm just off of the looks of it, I'm a little surprised. But then again, other than the fact that looks can sometimes be deceiving, you also gotta take into consideration what type of crime happened. Like when some people, when you think of violent crime, you're thinking of home break-ins, carjackings, and shootings, and crap like that. But sometimes, if there's a high number of domestic situations that happen in a community, and a spouse or a neighbor decides to call law enforcement, and then they come. Now, once law enforcement comes to the home and they do their thing, that situation could be reported as an incident under violent crime. So sometimes if a community has a higher than average violent crime, it doesn't necessarily mean that their area is going to be dangerous. Now, to determine whether an area is just dangerous, don't move there, you're risking your safety moving there type of deal, or something like that, versus an area that might have high violent crime due to just people, I don't know, getting into domestic situations with their spouse or their family members or whatever. The way that I go about determining the difference in the two groups when it comes to violent crime is, and I've told you this on other videos, and I'm going to tell you guys again on this one. When I drive through a lot of these neighborhoods on these videos, I typically look at factors like, are there a bunch of houses that are dilapidated? Are there a bunch of houses or buildings that are unkept? Do I see a bunch of bars on people's windows? Like when I go through residential areas, do I see a bunch of bars on the windows? When I go through the business district, is there a high number of businesses that also got bars on the windows of their place? Do I see a bunch of houses boarded up? Do I see a bunch of people walking around like they're lost somewhere? Walking around with their pants hanging off their back end. And also I look at just the overall upkeep of a neighborhood. Is the neighborhood kept up? Do people maintain their yards? Do people take care of their property? Is there a lot of loitering at gas stations and grocery stores and other type of businesses? And another thing I look at is when I go down many of these streets, are there a lot of speed bumps? Now, although speed bumps may not necessarily indicate an area that's high crime, speed bumps, however, other than the fact that they force your vehicle to drive at a slower pace for the safety of the residents in that community, speed bumps will also like if you're like if there's a high concentration of criminal activity in a given community, another thing that speed bumps can also do is it will force that vehicle to drive slower. So if there was any, if there was ever any type of pursuit, and law enforcement was looking to get that person because they've committed some type of crime, or they're in the process of committing the crime, and law enforcement's trying to catch them and apprehend them, the speed bumps could be enough to slow the vehicle down to where law enforcement could get that person and put that person or those people in custody that much easier. So, those are just some of the basic things I look at when I determine whether an area is going to be safe or unsafe for me to reside in. I don't just look at, okay, this area is high crime, that's it, that's all. No, I look at other factors as I'm driving through many of these communities. So moving on to the racial demographics here. Now, again, this city is not going to be the most diverse city out here. And I'm going to tell you guys right now that the majority of the communities I do that are located here in Northeast Indiana, the majority of these communities are going to have next to no diversity. Now, as I've told you before, that doesn't necessarily mean that the place is a bad place to live. It doesn't necessarily mean that the people who live in that community are going to be prejudiced or race or practice racism. It just simply means that if you move to some of these areas, there's not going to be a high element of diversity, if any at all. And there's a lot of people, myself included, that prefer to live in communities that are more diverse. So with that being said, you got 92.5% white, you got 1% black, you got 1.1% Asian, and you got 4% Hispanic here in Kendallville. Now, as far as what I think about Kendallville, for the most part, I think this is a relatively clean and well-kept little city. Now, housing prices here is a hairline cheaper than some of the other places I've covered. And also, this place is going to be a little further away from Fort Wayne than some of the other places I've covered in the Northeast Indiana area. Now, here in Kendallville, there's going to be a little bit of traffic. It's not exactly a quiet hole in the wall, no traffic type of city. There's a little bit of traffic here. Now, the traffic here is not ridiculous, but it definitely does exist. If you want to live here, obviously you're going to be about 40 minutes outside of Fort Wayne, which ain't bad. It's not far. It's one of those type of cities where obviously if you don't want to live in Fort Wayne, or you don't even want to live in Allen County, you prefer to live in a bedroom community, this is one of those type of communities where you can come and see if you can find anything within your price range when it comes to housing, whether you're looking to purchase or you're just looking to pay some rents. Now, of course, you do have all your basic amenities here, so the only time that you would really need to do any driving real far out, such as to Fort Wayne, would be to maybe go to work, or when it comes to entertainment. Other than that, most of your basic amenities are going to be right here. And as you guys can see, you know, this place does have a half decent downtown. I mean, it's nothing special. It's just a typical downtown of what many people would consider a small American of small America. And so yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else to say about this city. So I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of the video. And as always, I thank every last one of you for tuning in to another episode of Andrew's Life. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. And you can also, while you're at it, you can also go ahead and give this video a thumbs up to help with the YouTube algorithm. And feel free to interact in the comment section. I would love to hear your questions or concerns or responses. So on that note, everyone have a blessed one, and I will see you guys on the next one.